Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Walking Through Lent using the Illustrated Ministries curriculum. It's been amazing so far, so let's jump back in. Let's talk a little bit more about the season of Lent, about a cool friend named Jesus, and see how those things intersect. So we are going to start off the exact same way we've started all of our other videos. I am going to read the Bible scripture for the week, and if while I'm reading it you start to think to yourselves, Miss Felicia, I don't understand what you're saying, this doesn't make sense, that's okay, because as soon as we're done reading the scripture from the actual Bible, we talk about it a little bit together, we summarize it together, because sometimes you have to work and lean on your community to bring scripture to life and to give you a better understanding of it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's cool that we're learning to do that together now. So that is what we are going to do. Today, we are talking about something I think is pretty cool that our friend Jesus did. One time, Jesus healed a blind man. You heard that right, a blind man. He healed him. So we together are going to listen to that story out of the Bible. We're going to talk about it. We're going to do some discussion questions that you can either go over as a family or you can go over them with me right here. And then we're going to talk about the activities that will be included in this week's family newsletter that you can do as a family to continue to bring these scriptures, these ideas, and these lessons to life. So let's get started. Today, today, like I said, we are going to hear about one time when Jesus healed a blind man. It's a very cool story. We can find it in Luke 18, verses 35 through 43. So everybody, put your very best, super awesome listening ears on, and let's listen to today's story. So Luke 18, verses 35 through 43 says, "As he approached Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside, begging. When he heard a crowd going by, he asked what was happening. They told him, 'Jesus of Nazareth is passing by.' Then the blind man shouted, 'Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me.' Those who were in front sternly ordered him to be quiet. But the blind man shouted even more loudly, 'Son of David, have mercy on me.' Jesus stood still and ordered the man to be brought to him. And when he came near, he asked him, 'What do you want me to do for you?' The man said, 'Lord, let me see again.' Jesus said to him, 'Receive your sight. Your faith has saved you.' Immediately, the man regained his sight and followed him, glorifying God. And all the people, when they saw it, praised God." So, guys, that is our Bible scriptures for this week. So let's talk a little bit about what exactly is happening in this story and what does it have to do with us now, today? Let's find out. So first off, I know this is a little different than talking about a blind man, but for a second, I would like to talk about babies. Cute, cuddly, adorable, loud, smelly babies. We're going to talk about babies for just a second. So babies love to feel the skin of their parents. So a lot of times whenever a baby is born, one of the very first things that happens is they place the baby on the parent's chest because that skin-to-skin contact is very important and valuable for a baby. So like I said, babies love to feel the skin of their parents. When a baby is born, the doctor or midwife often put the new baby on the parent's skin right away, like I said earlier. The baby will lie on their parent's belly or they'll lie on their parent's chest because it feels warm, it feels familiar, it feels cozy. The closeness allows the baby to hear the parent's voice. They can feel and hear their parent's heartbeat. They can feel the rhythm of their breathing. They get to taste healthy milk, and they get to smell a familiar smell of their family. So those are several of the reasons why babies love to feel the skin of their parents. So closeness helps a baby to be healthy. Even if a newborn baby is sick and it might not be super safe to hold the baby yet, parents still will sit beside their baby's crib to be as close to that baby as it is healthily possible. So Jesus knew that it was important to be close to the people who needed him. So the same way that a little baby is born knowing it needs the closeness of one of its parents, Jesus knew that it was important for the people that Jesus wanted to help to feel close to him. So Jesus knew, remember, he knew it was important to be close to the people that needed him. When others tried to get in the way, Jesus commanded that the weakest people be brought close to him. So in this story, the story we heard today about the blind man, Jesus heard the voice of somebody who needed him. Jesus was walking in a huge crowd and he heard that blind man calling out to him. Jesus heard him. He heard the voice of somebody that needed him. And he insisted that the man be brought closer. The man was blind, but perhaps like a newborn baby, the man was close enough to Jesus to really smell Jesus, to hear Jesus, to feel Jesus. God's Spirit is close to us now, today. I know that you can't really see God, but God is still so close to us. God's Spirit is always with us and super close to us. Maybe we can't always sense God with all 5 of our senses, right? Like maybe we can't always see God. Maybe we aren't sure what God smells like, but we know God is close to us because God promised us that. God promised to be close to us. So we believe that God kept his word and is close to us now. When we long to know that God is close with us, we can maybe sense God in the warmth of a loving parent. Maybe when your parents hug you at night and you feel so safe and so warm, maybe that's a way that God is showing up in your life. Maybe we can know God in the taste of a healthy meal. Whenever we're eating something that is good for our bodies, we remember who gave us the stuff to replenish and love on our bodies. Maybe when we smell an unpolluted earth. Have you ever gone outside and sometimes the air just smells bad and you're not sure what it is, but it just smells bad? We've all had those moments. Now imagine when you go outside and it smells like a crisp spring day and fresh cut grass and it just smells good outside. Maybe that's a way that you can feel God close to you, when you smell clean, crisp air, because that's the air that was created for you. Maybe when you hear a singing bird outside, maybe that's a chance for you to remember God's creation and that God created every living creature of the earth with the same heart and mind. Or maybe when you see a baby tree growing into a bigger tree, that's another place that you maybe see God showing up. So we, friends, can trust that God does not leave us. God has not abandoned us. God does not let people or problems come between God's Spirit and us. That is one thing I can always promise you guys. God's Spirit is always going to be close to you. God will not let anything stand in the way of being near you. So, that being said, that was this week's devotional. So good job for sitting through it. Good job for putting on your very best listening ears. So now we're going to talk about it for a second. So I am wondering if you guys can name the 5 senses. So let's think. What are the 5 senses? So a sense, I'm not good at explaining exactly what a sense is, but for example, I'll tell you one. A sense is touch. So when I touch my shirt, I can feel that the fabric is soft, which is nice. I can feel that the fabric is soft. I can feel one of my dog's hairs is on it. I just found that. I can feel my dog's hair. So feel, touch is one of our 5 senses. So what are our other senses? We can taste. Whenever you eat your favorite food and it's super yummy, you're tasting it, you're using your senses to taste it. Or whenever you eat something yucky and it doesn't taste good, your taste is telling you that. So taste is another one of your senses. What could be another sense? What's something that maybe goes with taste a little bit? I wonder if you guys can think of another sense. Am I doing that because Miss Felicia's allergies are that bad? No, I'm trying to give you a hint that the next sense is smell. Like I said, you ever go outside and you smell the air and you're like, I don't know what stinks, but something doesn't smell good out here. Compared to the days when you go outside and you're like, it smells like a beautiful spring day and I love it. You're using your nose, you're using your smell to sense something. So that's another sense that we have. What is our fourth one? What could the fourth sense be? Can you see my ear over my hair? Look at that. What could our fourth sense be? If you're guessing hearing, very good job. We can hear things. Most of you, if you can hear my voice, you can hear, like we said, a bird singing outside, you can hear your parents. Hearing is another sense. And then our fifth sense. I'm wondering if you guys can tell me what our fifth sense might be. Why would Miss Felicia be doing this and looking out into the distance? Maybe because our fifth sense is our eyesight, our sight. We can see things. We can see beautiful colors. We can see when our room is a mess. We can see the people we love. Maybe sight is your fifth sense. Just kidding, it's not a maybe, it is. Sight is the fifth sense. So we talked about our five senses. Does every single person on earth have all of these senses? No, it's true. Not every single person has all five senses. But what's really cool is if you know somebody who maybe can't hear very well, or if you know somebody who always has a stopped up nose and can't smell things very well, or if you know somebody who maybe can't see. Does that mean they're any less than somebody with five senses? No. What's even cooler is all their other senses. So let's say, for example, if I am having trouble seeing something, a lot of times your other senses, those other four senses, will become even stronger to help out your one sense that's a little weaker. So if I'm having trouble seeing something, maybe I can use my nose. I can try to smell what it is. I can use touch and try to feel what it is that I'm looking at. That's the really amazing thing about us having human bodies and our senses and all the things our bodies can do. Even if your body can or can't do something that your friend's body can, our bodies have awesome ways of still taking really good care of us. So if you're looking for a way for God to show up today, maybe say, God, thank you for this really cool body I have and for all the really amazing things this body does for me. But back to our questions. Miss Felicia got off on a little bit of a tangent there. Anyways, so back to our five senses. Which of the five senses help you sense God or feel close to God? So earlier, I gave you guys an example of the way every sense can help you feel close to God. So maybe you see a singing bird and you can hear it. You hear and see a beautiful singing bird. Maybe that bird helps you feel closer to God because that bird was created by God for you to hear its beautiful song and to see its really colorful feathers. What's another way we talked about? We talked about how touch and feeling, when somebody wraps you up in a warm hug and that feeling of just love and safety that you get, that is a way that we can sense God because God created us to live in community. God created us to feel warm and safe when we're with safe, warm people. So those are just some examples of how your senses can help you feel closer to God. So my next question for you is, when do you sense the love of God? When do you sense the love of God? Well, I know one way is sometimes Miss Felicia gets a little scared, just like we all do. Some things scare people, Some things don't, but you know, we all might have a little fear or be a little scared of something. Like, for example, Miss Felicia does not love really bad storms. I don't know a lot of people that do. I like a nice like spring thunderstorm, but whenever the thunder starts to get really loud or if the wind is blowing too hard, it makes Miss Felicia very nervous. And sometimes those nerves can turn into a little fear. I get scared of what the weather's gonna do. I get scared of the storm. So sometimes whenever I'm feeling scared, whether it's of a storm or of being an adult or anything else, whenever I am feeling a little bit of fear, I remind myself that God is with me, that God's Spirit is with me, and that God's Spirit will protect me. And in that moment, I feel like I can sense the love of God, because immediately I get that warm feeling in my heart. I feel my brain trying to calm itself down. I feel loved in that moment because I remember that I don't need to be afraid when there's somebody and something always there to protect me. So that's one way that you can sense the love of God. Our next question, in what ways do you feel close to your family? That is quite a question. In what ways do you feel close to your family? Maybe whenever you have a big family hug, or you get a special hug from a member of your family, whenever you get that nice, warm, tight hug, maybe that helps you feel loved. I wonder, whenever your family does something really fun together, whenever you all take a Saturday and go somewhere together and play and have fun, does that help you feel close to your family? Or maybe whenever you guys sit close together, I know sometimes before bed, some of you read stories, maybe when you're all cuddled up in your bed reading stories before you go to bed. Or maybe have you guys ever had a campfire and then you're all sitting close, huddled around the fire? Do you feel loved and known by your family in those moments? I want you to think, what are moments that I feel the most loved by my family? And I want you to celebrate those moments because they're a gift. And then our next question, what do you do when you don't feel close to family or friends? And that's a deep question, guys. So what do you do if you're not feeling close to your family and friends? What do you do if you're maybe feeling kind of lonely? What do you do with that feeling? Well, if I'm not feeling particularly close to my family or my friends for whatever reason, I try and think of other ways that I know God will show up. Like I said, being outside, smelling the air, hearing a bird, this cute little song from a tree. At least personally, if there's ever a time where I feel lonely or like going to a family member or friend isn't quite what I need, I love to spend time outside. I love to garden. I love to get my hands in the dirt. That helps me feel close to God. Being outside, seeing and sensing God's creation that was created for me and for us. It helps me feel closer to God in a way that sometimes my family and friends can't. So maybe you just have to find that thing that helps you feel closer to God and celebrate that thing. And then our last question, what can you do to feel closer to God and family and friends? There's so many things. What a broad question. There are so many things that we can do to feel closer to God and feel closer to our family and friends. A couple examples would be, why don't you just talk to God? What if you pray? And a lot of times we think prayers have to be fancy or we have to use these big, perfect words, which isn't true. Praying is simply just talking to God. It doesn't have to belong to any format. So maybe just talking to God. Wouldn't it be hard to get to know a friend if you couldn't talk to them? The answer is yes. It would be hard to get to know a friend if you couldn't talk to them. So in that same way, take some time and talk to God. That's how we get to know God, and that's how God continues to know our hearts, is if we just talk to God. So you could try that. Also, just talking to your family and friends. Is there a family member that you miss? Maybe you haven't gotten to see them in a while, and you really miss them and you want them to know that you miss them and you love them. You could try maybe FaceTiming them with your parents' permission on their phone. You could try writing a family member a letter. Let them know that you miss them and love them. there are all kinds of ways that we can feel closer to God. We can feel closer to family and feel closer to friends. I invite you guys to think of some ways you can do that and then go do it. So that is our devotional for this week. Thank you so much to listening to my little spiel and for going through those questions with me. I know sometimes questions can seem kind of boring, but I think they're cool because they help us walk the talk, right? They help us actually have examples and learn how the things we just talked about can apply to our everyday lives. So thank you for going through those questions with me. So this week's at-home activity is a things around the house scavenger hunt. So I am going to invite you guys to take a look around the rooms in your house and tell me, what do you see? Because we live in a world full of things. This world is so full of so many things, and those are things that we can touch, we can see, we can smell, we can hear, we can taste, we can use all 5 of our senses. Everything around us can be used to experience closeness with God. Some of them might be a bit of a thinker, but everything around us, whether you know or not, can be used to experience closeness with God. But not just closeness with God, closeness with ourselves and closeness with the people around us. So it can also be used to divide, distinguish, or create distance. Our senses can lead to really beautiful, healthy things, but like most things in life, our senses could be used for not so healthy things. That's why we gotta know how to use them the best we can. So all that to say, this week's at-home scavenger hunt activity will spark curiosity around the meaning of all of our things. And I want to encourage a little critical thinking regarding how we use all the things in our house. This scavenger hunt, I'm asking you guys to look for the most typical things in your house that you probably use every day, but you've never given them a second thought of, why is that important and how is that actually a blessing? So that's what I invite you guys to do. That scavenger hunt and a coloring page that coincides with this week's lesson can be found in our family newsletter. So like I said last week, if you currently do not receive our family newsletter on Thursday afternoons, now's a great time to sign up. So all you gotta do is email me, Felicia Cole, at youth, the fun at symbol, stfrancis.greensboro.org. Or visit our St. Francis Episcopal Church website, find my name, and you'll find my email as well. So if you're not on our family newsletter, we invite anybody who wants to be part of it to join. And all you gotta do to get on that list is send me an email and let me know you wanna be on it. And I will make sure that is a newsletter that is coming into your inbox every Thursday afternoon. So thank you guys for being wonderful listeners and for sharing another week of Lent with me. I will see you next Thursday, and I can't wait to continue walking through and experiencing Lent together as a community. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Hopefully I'll see some of you on Sunday, and I will see you later. Make good choices. Remember who you are and whose you are. Have a great day. Bye, guys.